This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Tuesday, May 17th. Gas currently $2 and a few cents a liter, depending upon where you live, drive, shop, stop. And is it affecting your upcoming plans for the Victoria Day long weekend? Because if you think it's going to stay at 207, I think we will be in for a bit of a shock.
Do you think so? Before the end of the week? Or
I'm just used to that. You know,
they're going to raise it again before the long weekend?
I don't have a number in my head that says, it's going to be 2.25. I don't know.
No, but do you think they will before the long weekend?
Yeah.
Even just a little bit?
I think it just historically that tends to happen. And we pay for it and away we go.
Blech.
I know. And we were talking about that this morning.
We were talking about that because I saw it on the way in. It was at 207 and we put it up on our socials to get your thoughts. And it's when you say, will it change your plans? So far, those who have shared their opinions, the majority have said no.
Right. Cover our eyes, hold our nose, pay it.
We've been home for too long.
Yep.
I'm getting out and I'm enjoying this. Others have said, it's going to be really tough. They feel bad for others who are just trying to make ends meet, which a lot of people, it's getting harder because it's not just gas, as we know, housing, groceries. People are really starting to have to make choices again, some tough choices. And others are saying, we'll just stay in the backyard.
If you think that gas prices are only going up because production costs and labor costs, and they're just trying to maintain the profit levels that they normally had, you might be shocked to hear that the average major petroleum company in the first quarter of this year made profits on average 127% higher than the same time last year. So any kind of thought that, because of the pandemic, it costs more to, no.
Yeah.
Profit
and they may say, we have to recoup because of the pandemic. That is way too much to recoup.
That's not recouping. Hey, we all had to tighten our belts.
Exactly.
Have you recouped everything you lost from the pandemic, Charity? Have you?
Well, no, you can never recoup it.
Nobody
you can just maybe get to where you were. Yeah. And clearly they have, and then some.
Right. So don't give me this, we're all in it together.
Yeah.
We're all in the same ocean, but some of us are in yachts and some of us are struggling in dinghies and some of us are unfortunately in the water. We need to help each other out as best we can. But 207 is where it's at. And we were talking about, I think the answer is that you and I need to form a gas company.
Our own.
Oh, I hope you're good at business because I'm not.
Can you dig?
Yeah. And then can you refine?
Yeah, exactly.
And then drive it to the pumps and put it in the ground? But you and I put up a gas station on a corner with three other ones, with a Petro-Can over there, a Shell, and a Pioneer and an Esso. And we're all around the same area, and they're all 207. And we decide in our company that we're going to run it at a break even. And maybe that, because everybody would tell you, that's the dumbest business model ever. Well, okay. But I'm launching. We're going to break even. And we can sell it at $1.71 a liter if we broke even. Although if I'm making 127% more than I was last year, I can do $1.10.
Exactly.
And still be quite comfortable. So I'm going to do it at $1.09. Everybody else $2.09, I'm going to be $1.09. And then get everybody. So why hasn't somebody done that? And it has to be collusion. I can't see another way. I'm sure an economist could argue with me very brilliantly and poke all kinds of holes and call me a conspiracy theorist. But if they're all charging the same and they're all up well over 100% and we keep buying it, it looks like the only way it'll stop is if somehow, but we can't,
someone breaks free.
Buy it. Or somebody says this is crazy.
If it comes down to the fact that, I like making this much money, I want to continue. And we live in a country where, you know what? You have the opportunity to do that.
You're allowed to.
But why not see the benefits of, hey, if I do lower it, then you're still going to make a profit. You're still going to make, because everybody will stop going to the other ones. If you lower it that much, even 10 cents, people will seek you out.
Yeah.
To save.
Right.
To get that deal.
If Petro-Canada wants to screw Esso, drop it to 185. Then what?
I would like to see it lower than that, but yes, you're right.
But right? And
because that's the sad part too. We look at 185 and we think we're getting a deal.
Yeah.
But that's
no, I get it.
A ridiculous price of gas too.
I totally get it. Will we ever see it lower? Remember when it went over $1? Remember when gas stations
was $1.09?
had
Yes.
the signs?
They didn't have
They
the
didn't have
space.
room for a one because liters were always going to be in cents. It was never going to get to $1.
Yes.
And then it did, and like, what a joke. And we all freaked out in the media, and we told all of our listeners.
I remember it was Katrina. That's what really
Hurricane
set it
Katrina?
over. It was Hurricane Katrina, because we went to, funny enough, we went to the East Coast that summer. And I remember it was $1.25 and thinking that was horrible. And it did drop back down. It was horrible.
Not for long.
But then this summer, we're thinking about doing another road trip. Well, we're not thinking. We are going to do another road trip. And here we are saying it's... I'm sorry. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's when we decide to do road trips.
You're not going to change a road trip because you've saved very well for it, and you're a very frugal family, and so I get all that, and I think that's great. But does it make you stop and think about what other things you may have to tighten your belt about?
Absolutely, it does.
Because it's not paycheck to paycheck. But on the other hand, all right, there's some frivolous things now because of that I am not going to do.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what they are, but
because now the price of gas, what's that going to take away from?
Yeah.
Now we have to budget for that extra cost. So what are we now? And it's what are we going to miss out on this trip? Can we tighten it on the trip, or is it going to be something else when we get home?
Because you know what's going to suffer? The ice cream shop. Because I'm going to say, you know what? Maybe we won't make as many trips out for a treat.
Yep.
So if you have a favorite spot that you go to for a treat, okay. What's it going to hurt? Restaurants are going to hurt again. Well, I can't afford to go out and eat. I'm going to have to eat at home.
And it's very frivolous, but the tourism industry as a whole.
Absolutely.
People are going to really stop and think, as much as everybody has said on our Facebook that, no, it's not going to change our plans. It's going to change your plans. You're really going to think about, okay, do I drive down the road to Kingston? Do I drive up to Buckhorn, Algonquin Park, even over to the county? Do I make that trip over, or is there something right here that I can walk to, that I can bike to, that isn't going to cost me anything more? Because it's getting harder to spend more than above your budget.
And the people that come in from the Torontos and the Ottawas and the Quebecs into our area to vacation,
absolutely,
that's a lot more money for them to do that.
I'm just mentioning places within an hour's drive. You get any further than that, and will they come here?
And we need them to.
We do.
So
absolutely, we do. Every community does. And a lot of places do rely on that extra money. Think about, you mentioned the Trent Severn Waterway opening up this weekend, the locks. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I fully expect to see the boats going up and down the river. But will there be as many? Will people be able to, and usually people who have the boat can't afford the gas, but are they going to make that long trek? Are they going to go out as much?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's maybe not every night as a moonlight.
Yeah.
You say that, and I love it because I remember when it was called the Sky Dome in 1991 opened, and I was doing the morning show at CJCS Radio in Stratford, and we were a Toronto Blue Jay affiliate. So we played the games, and I got to go to opening night that it opened against Milwaukee. Paul Molitor doubled to open when he played with Milwaukee. Milwaukee win that night? I think they did, yeah. But I was talking to somebody, and hot dogs were $7. And at that time,
that would have been huge.
Yeah, that was like, you've got to be kidding me. But they're going to price gouge you there. It's going to be $7. And I was playing golf with a guy, and I made the comment, and I said, yeah, but the only people who can go are the people who can afford $7 hot dogs. To which point he said something that clearly I've never forgotten, and he said, rich people don't like getting ripped off either.
No.
So the point about, sure, rich people don't have to think about giving up to spend $207, but they don't like this any more than we do either. No,
and that's what I mean. They may not spend 2 or 3 weeks out of the summer going up and down the canal anymore. They may just put it in Trenton, go up a couple of locks, turn around, come back. Yeah. Kind of thing. Like that. That's my point. If it won't be the extended tour, perhaps, that they normally would do. And maybe we do see fewer boats in the water this summer.
Or, they don't have to worry about where am I going to pay for my groceries now. I can't afford to put gas in my car, and affordable housing. Remember when affordable housing used to be housing for individuals who are homeless? We used to think, or, transitional housing. The word affordable was like a very nicely painted word for people who are homeless. Now affordable housing is anybody who just wants to get a house and they can't afford a house. Why aren't we building like family homes that cost $250,000? You can't. They're $800,000.
Well, and that's just it. Middle class families, not rich families, not poor families. Middle class, 2-income households are looking at affordable housing, are trying to find affordable housing because everything else, their money's going everywhere. They're going to gas, going to groceries, going to just everyday expenses that housing really and housing has just come into that umbrella of almost unattainability for young people. And it's scary. It's really scary.
At the home show, and the guys were doing the talk about the housing market and how hot it was. And I'd said, it shocks me, really came down to it when, my daughter's 32. She's lived in the neighborhood that we live in now because we've lived in this house for over 20 years. So she was raised in this house. My daughter could never even dream of affording to buy a house in a neighborhood she grew up in.
Yeah.
She got the same level kind of job that her mom and dad do, salary-wise, give or take. Could never dream of living in the same neighborhood she grew up in. And that used to always be the dream was.
She can't afford it.
The dream was the better neighborhood, to get you to your next place. And because my life is better than my father's. I have a better home than I grew up in,
and you hope your children
That's what you want. That's how you begin to accumulate, not wealth, but that's how you want that for your family. That's how society grows. It's going backwards. All the money's being concentrated at the top with gas and housing, and we're being just, shut out of the market in the middle class, and it's going to get scary before it gets better. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it already is. But if you have some thoughts, please share them with us on our Facebook page. We would love to hear from you because and including big time economists. We'll get you on the phone. Tell because I would love to hear why I'm wrong. And I'm not saying I'm going to argue with you. I want to know the reason why I want to know what the answer is. Exactly. How are
we looking at this wrong?
How can we fix this? Because I really feel it needs to be fixed. It can't continue like this.
And short of, government intervention and laws, which, if that has to happen, that has to happen. But that seems so inefficient. And short of, we all need to stop buying it, which sounds like the right thing.
But we can't.
But we can't. So
at this point, we can't. It is just so essential to so many things in our life, not just driving vehicles, but in other ways as well. It's just not realistic at this time. So how can we move forward without...
Love to hear it. Love to get you on the podcast.
Yeah, without people going bankrupt.
Don't care where you live. You don't have to live in the Pony region.
It just, it's very scary. And
then student loans. Don't even get me started. So then we decided to have some fun with the other.
So yes, let's have some fun.
Important topic. Do you take your phone with you when you go to the bathroom? Because the answer is 65% of us do, the other 35% lie.
Well, and as you pointed out, yes, 65% were honest enough. Yeah. That number should be higher because I think everyone has, if they don't regularly at one point or another. I have. I will admit it. I've taken the phone in with me to the bathroom. I do quite often.
I think our attention spans demand it. Sitting on the toilet with your hand in your head.
It's not that I'm talking to people, though I have done that.
Yeah.
Only certain people will I do that with. But it's the number one reason people do is to scroll through social media.
Yeah,
and
just
I have done that
your time.
Because it as you said, I think it's just an intention thing. You're sitting, you're there, you're waiting, you're doing your thing.
Basket of Reader's Digest. Nobody's got that anymore.
And not to embarrass him, but my father quite often take a book in with them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of replaced that. It's for some their quiet time. And that is one of the things. Reading's another one. 35% do it to read and to get caught up on the news. They listen. They don't even read it. They listen to the news.
And when they're quote unquote done, they don't leave the bathroom. Well, I'm just comfortable now.
Exactly.
I'm just here. So I'll read the chapter.
I'm not done the article yet, so I'm just going to stay in here.
I'm done the chapter.
It could be their 5, 10, however long you're in their minutes of quiet for the day. So they take their phone in and that's their quiet time.
Jimmy Hollywood was saying to us this morning how he was shaving and his new station phoned him. I don't know, did he forget to call them or was it their job to phone him or whatever it was? But he said if he didn't have his phone with him in the bathroom,
he wouldn't have got it.
He wouldn't have gotten it. But
that's bad time management on his part.
Well, no kidding. He needs better management. But he needs.
I don't think there's anything wrong with taking your phone into the bathroom.
No, it's just one of those funny things. It's like, would you leave it out? Well, Why should I have to? Why should I prove that I need to?
And I don't think it's a new thing. I think as soon as phones became cordless, they were making their way in. I remember working with a gentleman. This was 20 years ago. So these would have been flip phones. And he picked it up and off he went. And I asked, he's like, if anybody needs me, I'm in my office, which was code for the bathroom. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, that's awful. But I suppose if you're...
He's a trailblazer, trendsetter.
If you're working, you need to be on call all the time. I don't know. I think there is a time and a place, but... I take the remote control in the bathroom with me because I don't want anybody chasing the channel. If you had it on your phone, you wouldn't have to worry about that because people do.
I don't.
That's the other thing. 40% play video games and watch TV.
On their phone.
On their phone. In the bathroom. So if you had it on your phone, you could leave the remote out in the living room and not take it.
Dastardly. It's like, did you take the remote with you? Yes, I didn't want you to change the channel.
Maybe I did.
Over the top.
Just the thing is, though, remember to wipe it off when you leave. Make sure you sanitize, not just your hands, but the surfaces.
First.
Yes.
Coming up tomorrow, we'll be unveiling for Burger Revolution our Throwback Thursday into the long weekend. Major, major theme. Big time. And hard to believe, we'll spawn an argument tomorrow.
Of course it will. I know shocking to
I didn't
believe.
mean it for it. And then Charity started poking the bear. And now I got my backup.
Oh. Well, I didn't mean to poke the bear.
No, of course
you didn't. Are you changing your song?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you would be. Not. I thought I'd poked enough that you would change it.
Exactly. And now I've thought about it and realized that strategy is going to backfire.
That is taken out of the Mark Fieldman playbook, just so everybody knows.
Getting in your head with the Throwback Thursday strategy.
Did you know that this podcast marks our 150th podcast?
Oh, happy 150 podcasts.
Yes, we acknowledged the 100th. And we are now at 150.
150.
Yep.
If you've heard all of them, my gosh.
Thank you.
Thanks. I haven't heard all of them.
No. So thank you for
listening.
Thank you.
And for everybody who helps to put this together.
Yes.
So
appreciate it.
Join us tomorrow morning at 95.5 Hits FM in Belleville. It's a Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, 150th episode. Wherever you get your favorite podcasts, watch for it and join us on air. You can text us anytime with an AMA and ask me anything at 613-962-0955. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll talk tomorrow.